It's just desperately sad that Charles should have died so young, leaving behind a young son who he was devoted to. And you know, Charles was the absolute polar opposite of your cardboard cutout, point-scoring politician. He was funny, but also very thoughtful. He was tremendously kind, but very courageous too. And I think above all, you know, he spent over 30 years in the House of Commons, and yet throughout that time he remained a totally decent human being.
He was very principled as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He had this very quiet manner about him. He was understated, he wasn't showy, he was always very thoughtful, very funny, both in private and in public. I think lots of people this morning feel that even if they weren't interested in politics, they kind of knew Charles Kennedy. He was a kind of proper personality, a sort of fully rounded human being. And you know, with all of that came a very strong sense of principle. He was an internationalist to his core, believed passionately that Britain should remain a part of Europe, but also a very proud Highlander, a Scot, very proud of the Union as well. And as you know, showed huge courage when he spoke pretty well alone, actually, on behalf of the whole country against the invasion of Iraq.
And what about his impact and his influence on the Liberal Democrats, a very important figure for the party?
Hugely important. The most successful leader of the Liberal Democrats since the party was created by far. And what was so unusual again about him was that even though he scored spectacular election and by-election victories, and the parliamentary party swelled in size to its largest number under his leadership, he was always totally modest about it, and he was never shy about paying tribute to other people. He realised that politics was a team game, and that's why he inspired such fierce loyalty in everybody who served under him. In my view, Charles Kennedy, on form, on a good day when he was feeling strong and happy, had more political talent in his little finger than the rest of us put together, and that's why everyone just felt, and still of course feels today, that it was just so tragic to see someone with such huge gifts also struggle, as many people do, with the demons that clearly beset him, and the problems that he acknowledged that he had with alcohol. I was in touch with Charles just a few days ago. He was already thinking about how we should make the case for Britain remaining an outward-facing, open-hearted, generous-spirited country remaining in Europe. He had as much appetite for those kind of debates as the first day I met him many years ago.